What is minimalism? Is it a game for the rich? Is it a cult? Do we have to throw away everything we have and sleep on the floor? Can we not have a family, kids, houses, and cars? Minimalism, what does it really mean? What I've noticed is that the way people talk about minimalism these days, you probably think that it's a lifestyle for monks. It's definitely not for someone who has a wife, work, and hobbies. Let alone someone who has long hair with beard. So today, let's chat about misconceptions and what can minimalism actually do for us. I'm not really a fan of the word minimalism, and I often blame it simply because it's got that feeling of extreme, which can be quite misleading sometimes.
So I've heard someone say, there's another word for minimalism, it's called being a bachelor. So that's, yeah, I mean, I could see how people would think, oh, that's really easy if you're not married and you have no kids. How do I set an example of myself being married and having 6 kids, which is totally unminimalist and very ironic? How do I live a minimalist lifestyle with those kinds of constraints?
Jacko and I haven't been too prescriptive about, like, no, you have 5 toys, you know? No, dude, you can only have 1 truck. You can't have 3 trucks, you know? It's like, no. When I was a little kid, I didn't have 1 G.I. Joe. I had, like, 100 G.I. Joes.
We've welcomed things into our life, but definitely with the intention of thinking about what we're doing as opposed to just consuming.
And I personally have absolutely no problem with people who've decided to live in tiny houses without furnitures, or if they want to wear the same thing every single day. If we only think of minimalism as only as little as possible, equating minimalism with those extreme lifestyles, that can be very excluding and off-putting to others. What happens is we tend to focus more on the appearance of minimalism instead of the philosophy it carries. Like oftentimes we will think minimalism and getting rid of things are exactly the same thing. Well, I can tell where this is coming from. It's probably the most visual part of minimalism. We almost always start with organizing and getting rid of things that we never use. The living standards of our society have improved so much in the past few decades, which is a very, very good thing. But the desire of material things kind of went out of control. The rise of modern minimalism is actually representing a response to the overly materialistic culture. We've been educated almost all the time to buy bigger houses, nicer cars, the latest gadgets, and fancy brands. We've been told that the key to happiness is to attain more material possessions. We discover that this constant pursuit of stuff is not actually bringing more happiness or satisfaction to our lives.
It does look like money can buy happiness in some sense. In global research, below $70,000 US a year, adding greater material well-being is linked to greater psychological well-being. But when you start pushing past that rough threshold, money doesn't buy happiness. You can have more money, but you're not happier.
Very often, we were just seeking validations from others. Is validation the source of happiness? Is validation going to make your anxiety, worries, and pressures go away? Or can it be the root cause of all? A lot of people say, okay, minimalism, is that a new concept? Is that from the West? Minimalism might sound like something that has just become popular in recent years, but in fact, it's nothing new to us. It's deeply rooted in our ancient philosophies. But talking about ancient philosophies, to be honest, I'm not really an expert on that topic, but I do believe minimalism and our tradition encourage us to focus more on ourselves and being a rich person from inside. It's definitely not to say you should have no desires for a better life. It's not to say that you should stop buying things and start living like a monk. It's actually encouraging us to spend more time and effort on the most important things in our lives. How minimal is enough to be a minimalist? What happens if we have children, elderly parents, pets, and a life to take care of? What happens if we can't achieve that meticulous aesthetic of minimalism? And what happens if we just can't meet others' expectation of it? Does that disqualify us from benefiting from minimalism? This is why putting labels on everything can be more harmful than good. It can exclude a lot of people who could potentially benefit from the minimalism philosophy. There's no protocol or rules on how minimalism should look like. It's not about how you decorate your home, how you dress, or how you look. It's nothing about if you have a family, career, houses, cars, and hobbies. You might have it all, or you might have none, and that's okay. No matter who we are, what social class, age group, and stage of life we're in. If we try to be intentional with how we spend our time, our money, and resources that are available to us, focus more on the things and people that are truly meaningful to us, then you are practicing minimalism. You might have a different view on this, and that's totally fine. At the end of the day, it's a personal choice. You see, some just want to have a tidier home, and some just want to get out of debt and be in a healthier financial position. And for others, it's being really selective with relationships. Stop comparing ourselves with others. Cutting out the people who drain your energy in life. No one is going to force you to look at this through the same lens. One thing I'm pretty sure is that you don't have to get rid of everything you have, nor do you have to be a monk. You can have a family with adorable kids, you can have the love of your life, you can have hobbies or whatever you enjoy doing. To me, minimalism is really just a powerful tool to help us to gain more control over our lives, focusing on what's truly valuable and important to you. Yes, you, not me, not others, but yourself. You. For me, I like to keep an open mindset, keep my options open and be really optimistic. Definitely not for living with as little as possible, but living with those that have a purpose to us. Knowing what's enough and knowing what's too much. What we need to bear in mind is that minimalism is not magic. No, it's not going to solve all our problems in life. Even if you practice minimalism, it doesn't mean you can escape complexity. It just helps you to decide which of these complicated things are worth fighting for. The way I look at it is, I consider it as a general method of decision making, like an art of balancing everything in life. There's no right or wrong way of doing it because everyone is different. And since there's no one can live the life for us, we need to dive deeper into figuring out options to get more freedom and happiness in life. I believe it's better to test yourself than just imagine it in our head. I guess this journey started for me, so what does minimalism mean to you? Originally, the videos I make here are meant for myself, to get out of my comfort zone, practice my English while learning about filmmaking. So all of a sudden I realized that I haven't been practicing my English for so long. I know these English contents with minority topics are not going to be very popular, but I'm okay with that. I'm just so fortunate now to hear and speak with so many of you, to know that some of my videos have been helping some of you start experimenting with changes in your life. It absolutely blows my mind. It's not something I'll ever get used to, but it's something that I really appreciate every single day. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.